holiday appetizers can either be really easy to make but kind of bland, or they can be really intricate and festive looking but very stressful to make. That is not what we're going for here today. Today we've got some vegan holiday appetizers that are delicious, they're festive, and they're easy to make. So I really hope that you enjoy. Thank you to Thrive Market for teaming up with me on this video, and let's go ahead and get started with the first appetizer. I like to make sure that the cream cheese is softened a little bit. It just makes it a lot easier to get out of the container. And then I'll just take a butter knife or an offset spatula and kind of run it around the inside of the container. It just helps to loosen the cream cheese. So all I have to do is turn it over onto my serving platter or a plate. Next, I'm going to take some apricot jam, and I like to either microwave this or warm it up on the stove. You don't want this to be hot. You just want it to soften a little bit. So when I take it out of the microwave, I'll stir it really well so that it's kind of loosened up and easier to pour, but I'll let it cool for about a minute or two before pouring it onto the vegan cream cheese, because if I put it on straight away when it was hot, it would just melt the cream cheese and you would have a big old mess. So you want to let that cool a little bit first. Once the jam is on, you can serve it as is, but I like to dress it up a little bit for the holidays with some dried apricots. I get the unsulfured kind usually, so I'll pile that on top, and then sometimes I'll also sprinkle on some almonds and one of my favorite garnishes around the holidays, fresh rosemary. This not only decorates the plate and makes it look a little more festive, but it also smells really good. So when your guests are standing near the buffet, they can smell that fresh rosemary and it just smells like the holidays. So it's a really great trick. I really throw it on everything just as garnish. It looks beautiful and it smells even better. These are the real thins, and I have to say I like these a lot better than the original Mary's Gone crackers, the round ones. These are more of a rectangle, but they're kind of curved, so they're really good for scooping. And then I got these almond flour crackers from Simple Mills. They have a bunch of different flavors that are really good. This is the cracked black pepper, and both of these are available on Thrive Market. You can find them at other grocery stores too, but you will save some money if you grab them on Thrive. My favorite is when I get a little bit of the cream cheese, a little bit of the jam, and then an apricot on top. Cream cheese is creamy and a little tangy, and then you have the sweet apricot jam, and then you have the crunchy, salty cracker with the chewy, sweet apricot, and there's just like so many different textures and flavors going on. It is so satisfying, a little addicting. I promise you, you're gonna love it. I know it seems simple, but I'm telling you, create this exact bite situation, you're gonna love it. Next up, I've got an appetizer that is a real showstopper, but I also really like that it's actually filling. I feel like sometimes party food can be, you just feel like you're sort of grazing, but you're never really getting full. This is a little bit more hearty, a little bit more satiating, and it's bursting with flavor, so it's really, really satisfying. We're gonna start with some frozen puff pastry, and you can get this in the freezer section at the grocery store, and you just wanna check to make sure that it doesn't contain any dairy, but this one does not. A lot of them do not, which is great, and you usually find this in the dessert or frozen fruit section, and you want to just go ahead and let it thaw, and then we're going to cut it into 9 even pieces. While the pastry bakes, I wanted to show you some of the staples that I get at Thrive Market. If you're a vegan, you probably are very familiar with nutritional yeast. Love this. I use it in so many things, even things that you might not think, like my vegan French toast recipe. It gives it this kind of custardy, eggy quality that works really well with the French toast. So it's really easy to make a vegan version if you have a touch of this in the batter. But really all of your basics like cereal, oatmeal, peanut butter, dog food, toilet paper, the list goes on. And they have a lot of the brands that I always see at the grocery store, but it's at a discounted price. In fact, the app actually has a barcode scanner, so you can always scan the barcode of an item if you're at the grocery store and see how much cheaper it would be on Thrive if you're ever kind of curious. So that's a really cool tip. And orders over $49 ship for free, and best of all, they come in carbon neutral packaging and they're shipped from their zero waste warehouses. If you guys have been wanting to join Thrive Market, I highly recommend it. You can sign up for 1 month or for 1 year, and you can use the link in the description box below. That will get you 30% off your first order and a free gift as well. And one of my favorite things about Thrive is that for every membership they get, they give one to a teacher, a veteran, a family in need, a first responder. To date, they have given over $4 million in healthy groceries, which I think is amazing. So click the link in the description box to check out Thrive Market. And now let's move on to making our mushroom stuffing. The trick to nicely browned mushrooms that have lots of flavor is to put them in a hot pan without any oil and let them sit undisturbed before you season. Fennel and garlic are the two flavors that I taste the most in sausage, and so whenever I cook with fennel and garlic, it really adds a sausagey quality, and the stuffing here really has a super savory, meaty, sausagey quality, but without any meat, obviously, or vegan meat. There's no meat alternatives or anything in this recipe. It is purely plants, but it really does have this heartiness, and I think part of that comes from the fennel. If you've never tried this before, I really recommend it. It's great in like pasta sauces as well. Anything Italian with garlic and basil, it's so good. So I love this for mushrooms. I love this for my greens, sauteed greens, and it's really good in this recipe as well. So after letting the mushrooms cook for a few minutes, I then add the salt, some red pepper flakes, and my fennel. I'll add a little oil and go ahead and saute for a few more minutes. And then I'm gonna add some fresh rosemary, which instantly smells amazing because we've got the garlic, we've got the rosemary, we've got the fennel. It's already great. And then all that's left to do is add some chopped walnuts. You want finely chopped walnuts, and this is just gonna toast and become really nutty and golden. I think the combination of mushrooms, garlic, fresh rosemary, and white wine is seriously a match made in heaven. It is so delicious, but if you don't want to use white wine, you could substitute veggie broth. I actually recommend using a mushroom broth because that will intensify the mushroom flavor, give it a little more depth and richness. Either way though, I do recommend using a low sodium vegetable or mushroom broth because you don't want to add more salt to this dish, and even with the low sodium broth, you're going to want to lower the salt a little bit. It's going to need to be to taste at that point, but trust me, the acidity and the freshness that you get from the wine and just how it kind of cooks down and adds so much depth and richness, I think it's delicious. I should actually show you the wine that I used. Any dry white wine that you like will work. I'm using this one from Kind of Wild. This is the Gruner. It's one of my favorites from their line, and it's really crisp and refreshing. So not only is it good in this recipe, but it also pairs really well with the recipe. So you only need a little bit that actually goes in the pan, and you can serve the rest on the side, which is what I plan to do later tonight. It's so perfect with recipes like this. Anything with like roasted vegetables, kind of like mushroom dishes, roasted green vegetables, salads, anything like that. It's just a perfect companion for that kind of thing. So I absolutely love this and highly recommend. The last thing we're going to do is make a creamy sauce to drizzle over the top. Not only does it look really beautiful, but it really ties this whole dish together. When I was recipe testing this recipe, I first made it without this sauce, and I tried it and I was like, I feel like it's missing something. It needs something kind of creamy or cheesy or something to you know, sort of make it pop. And this sauce is really what makes this recipe so magical because it has two secret components that just bring it to life. First of all, it has a little bit of lemon juice, and that lemon juice helps to elevate some of those savory, rich flavors in the dish. And then also it has a little pinch of allspice, and the allspice is kind of this background flavor that gives a little bit of warmth and kind of holiday festive flavor that again complements the savory richness of the dish. So the two combined with this creamy cashew sauce that drizzles really beautiful, kind of blankets over the top. And you can do this with a spoon if you want, if you just sort of zigzag back and forth. That works really well. I also like to use one of these. This is really handy. I use this all the time, especially when entertaining and I want to get, you know, more precise zigzags. I think it's just a really fun little thing to get. I'll link the one I have in the description box below. Look at those layers. How cute are these? What's really great about this appetizer too is that it's good served hot right out of the oven or at room temperature. It is one of those things that if you have it on the buffet table or if you're serving it at like a cookie decorating party or a movie night or something like that, it doesn't need to be hot. It's definitely still good at room temp. Cheers. It's so fun to eat. Flaky, buttery, crispy. You get that fennel, you get that garlic, but then you have that creamy drizzle, which adds a little bit of richness and just kind of ties it all together so that it's not dry. My favorite part is that little bit of crunch that you get from the pomegranate. So it's like this juicy burst of sweetness and a little bit of tang and acidity. So good. Comment below and let me know which one of these recipes you're excited to try first. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you have not already subscribed. And if you want to check out Thrive Market, check the description box below for the link. That's also where you'll find all the recipes you saw in this video. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I can't wait to see you back here very soon. Bye everyone.